welcome to Creation Station Weekly. This is our show from Creation Station, and we talk about some two or three of the cool news stories of the week, something about technology, something about makerspaces, and then we get you something fun from the library to get you through the rest of your week. And this week we've got someone from the Margate Library. And Valerie from the Margate Library is here with us. How are you doing today, Miss Valerie?
Hi, I'm doing pretty great. How are you doing today, Bob?
Life is pretty good here. The end of the year for us. It's been an amazing change of the year, I think. It's been a pretty crazy time for us out there. But I'm really glad we got you on this week. If you guys don't know and haven't been out to the Margate Library, Valerie's the branch manager out there, and she is the our science expert for the system. She's our NASA ambassador of one of them, right? You're one of three for the county, I think. Is that true, Valerie?
I think so. I know of at least two other people who are passionate. I don't know if I would say I'm an expert, but I would say that I am passionate about STEM, and I've brought a lot of STEM into the libraries, which I'm proud of.
And it's a really fun, cool thing. So we found a couple of stories this week. We try to stay away from the big year-end things and concentrate on something that's happening here now, real for you. Let me share my browser up here, and we'll dive right into this first story because I think this was a really interesting thing to happen. The CDC declared the top health story of 2020 was malaria, not COVID. Exactly. Right. Right, Val?
That's all you can do is laugh about it because I don't think if you asked anyone, including us, that they would think of malaria or mosquitoes as their top story.
Yeah. And I think that that's one of the things that makes it really interesting for me of reading this is just that reminder that we're all hung up on COVID. We're all hung up on this right now. And it's a horrible thing. This plague, etc., that we're all going through with this is a mess. But there are more people still dying of malaria every day than of COVID out there. And this is one of those diseases that's preventable, that we could do something about. And it's kind of like polio, where we have a vaccine. And why haven't we vaccinated everybody in the world yet? So I really thought this was an interesting story to kind of highlight that, you know what? It doesn't stop just at COVID. There's so many other things out there.
Absolutely. And I do want to highlight something related to mosquitoes, though, that you can be through NASA. There are some apps that you can download. You can be something called a citizen scientist. And one of the activities that they have available is a way that you can search for and eradicate mosquito larvae, which is definitely a problem here in South Florida, given that our weather never gets really cold enough to get rid of them. And something that you can still pick up, a leftover prize I have from the Science Fair Festival of 2020 is an attachable microscope that you can put onto your smartphone to help you look for mosquito larvae and eradicate them in your yard. So I still have several of those kits left. If anyone wants them, you can contact me at the Margate Library or just come on over, and I'd be happy to give them out until we get rid of them. I have a couple hundred left.
That is an excellent bonus for the end of the year. Hey,
Yeah.
that's a nice, fun little thing there. That is, wow, I didn't know we had those. That is excellent. Wow. I'm very impressed. Thank you, Miss Valerie. The next story that we had to talk about today actually Valerie sent me this earlier in the week. And it's all about butterflies. First, Valerie, tell us about what you've got going on with butterflies at your place.
Oh, absolutely. So my hobby during all of this COVID activity, I think everybody has started different hobbies they weren't doing beforehand. And the hobby that relaxes me is I've started a butterfly garden in my front yard. And I started with a couple of plants. Now I have over 20 plants in my yard. And this past 2 weeks, I've had 10 monarch butterflies hatch, which has been really wonderful to watch them grow from caterpillars and then to pupate and turn into these beautiful creatures. And it's been such a simple thing that I can do. You can buy their host plant. So the host plant is where butterflies lay their eggs. So you can buy the host plant for monarch butterflies called milkweed. There are many different varieties for $5 or $6. And in that way, you can help start to save monarchs, which are being considered as potentially an endangered species. And they're just so beautiful. They don't damage anything. They will eat your entire milkweed plant. It'll eat down to sticks and you think it'll be dead, but it's not actually dead. It'll grow right back. It's part of their life cycle. So I think it's a fantastic thing to do.
And I know I know monarchs are one of those species that migrates thousands of miles. Are we on a migration route for them, that they come across the Gulf of Mexico, or do they just go up and down the coast, the East Coast? Do you know?
So I am not sure about their migration route, or if the ones that I have migrate. I think we have a warm enough climate that they do have a life cycle all year round here, because I haven't seen any stoppage in them laying eggs or hatching in my yard, even when we had a couple days of cold.
Excellent. That's really nice. And it's one of those things where you've got people can do this super cheap on their own in their backyards. Broward County has a way of getting your backyard certified. A lot of cities do that also, to be natural backyard certifications. It's an interesting way of trying to just bring a little bit of nature back in and doing. It's so much fun. We have birds at my house. We live on a lake, so I've got ducks that have decided to use underneath my trees as their space. And luckily, they're green ducks and mallards, and it's been a nice little mix out there. These are the simple things. Yeah, these are the simple things that anybody can do. And I know it sounds complicated sometimes, but it's not.
No, especially like I said, for this, I started it as a hobby. I am not good, I will tell you, about weeding my garden. So I plant the plants and I leave them alone, and then I have butterflies. It hasn't been too much of an effort for me, and I get all of this reward of seeing these beautiful creatures.
I can live with that benign neglect thing. Yeah. If I don't have to take care of it, yeah, that'd be a great idea. Yeah. We did have one other story that both Valerie and I found this week. That was a really funny little story out there. And if you haven't seen this video, I've got it up. There's no sound. You don't have to worry about that. Just of an octopus just punching fish as they go by. And I think that it's a very funny. I see Val's all laughing at it again as this is going on. And I thought that this was great because it got a lot of attention for the video that it's sharing out there and getting people aware of, hey, these octopuses are pretty cool. Octopi are pretty cool. Doesn't really work. That's a grammar issue, I think. But one of the fun parts about this was this section, if you actually go in and start reading it, that the whole reason this happens is because octopus and fish hunt together. And so in this case, it's fish getting into the octopus's chances of catching its dinner. So it's getting pissed off and say, hey, wait, get out of here. Stop me. I want to get the image now of the fish biting at the octopus and saying, hey, wait, you get away from my dinner now, or something like that. How do the fish bully the octopus? But I just had to laugh.
Oh, yeah, I think it's so funny. And I like that something that grabbed so much attention because it was funny is then teaching us about a behavior we didn't know about. I love that they are partners. I love that they're not hunting each other and that they're actually working together. And part of the reason why scientists observed that the octopus punches the fish is just to redirect them in a different direction, although they did say that it could be just out of spite because they're annoyed with each other. And I mean, who can't relate to that? But
exactly. Just get out of my, give me some space, get out of here. That is just the thing. And if you've got some of those ideas out there, and for anybody who's watching this and you're like, well, wait, I want to hear some of these other cool things, and that, the library, every week we share a cool library link. This time our link is not off the library website, it's off of YouTube actually, but the library has something called BCL Explorers out on if you go to the Broward County Library YouTube page, it's out here and available for everyone to come see. And there's a whole channel here. We've got a handful of videos up for anybody to go explore clouds, planets. Astrophysics for Babies is one of my favorites. There's a whole book series you've got to go try if you haven't seen it. And some really cool, fun things to go out and see out there. And just as a hint, Miss Valerie here actually was in our first one or two of these videos to give you a friendly face to go out there and see that. I
did. I recorded the one about clouds and the other one about planets. And These videos highlight library resources that can give you activities you can do from home with household items. So in the clouds activity, for example, you use cotton balls and you try to race to fill them up with water to see who can make their clouds or cotton balls rain first. It was a lot of fun to demo, and I think families would really enjoy doing it. So that's the type of content you can look forward to when you click on these links.
And it's a great thing because we're not getting you to go out and buy some kit or do anything. This is all stuff you've probably already have at home for 90% of these things that you got going on. So, Ms. Val, tell us about Margate Library. What's going on out there for you guys right now?
The Margate Library, we have a lot of loyal customers who were really happy to see us open back up in November, and they're still coming in and supporting us. We love serving our community. We are right next to the Northwest Focal Point Senior Center. So I just want to bring attention to the fact that we're here, just in case you haven't known that we're here before. When we do bring public programs back, we also have a big auditorium, so we would welcome community partners. And we're just a really nice neighborhood library, and I would love to see all of your faces here. And I'd love to talk STEM activities with you if that's something that you're interested in.
And it is. I worked at the Margate Library once a few years ago, and it is a great little neighborhood place where people can just walk up and use the library and use the space. It's a really nice facility out there. It's just a nice example of what Broward County Library's got for everybody. All sorts of different sizes, and it all fits your local community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. We've got some really nice things going on up there at all the different branches. Thank you very much, Ms. Valerie, for being here with us today. Again, Creation Station Weekly. If you have any questions, ideas, suggestions, or you want to feature your own local branch or some librarian that you think you want to see out here one of these weeks, email us, creationstation@broward.org. Have a great weekend. Have a great new year, and we'll see you next week.